Hello, everyone. I hope that you are spending a good holiday time so far. So, right, okay. So, like we're a few days away from Christmas, and if I've learned anything, traveling a little bit all over the place, living in Italy, and working into my parents' restaurants around Christmas time, people love comfort food. So we're gonna do a little bit of different thing for Christmas, and we're gonna have to like separate it on part one, part two, part three. But I wanted to start actually to show you one of the suggestions that I've got for you guys for celebrating the seven fishes, like we do, for example, in Italy. So if you want to follow me right here with the camera, I took, for example, the night before, I've made a very nice Italian, basically stew. And it's got potatoes, it's got carrots, celery, onions, it's got barley, and it basically, in order to save time, so people will appreciate all the time a good barley soup or anything like that, especially if it's cold outside. But in order to cook the fish, I love and I've learned to cook the fish using the stew juices. It just like enriches the flavors a lot more than just putting the fish into a pan or just cooking it just like that by itself. And it's very easy to understand. It's because you got a concentration of, by volume, of different flavors. So of course it's gonna taste very, very good. So previously in another video, we actually cooked two versions of the cod. So what I did is actually into this spot, which is a fish stew spot, basically I took some mussels, some squid. It's got some baby octopus in there. I got the potatoes. I got the shrimp in there. I added a bunch of onions, some lemon. And what I did is that I started to have a 50% volume of that Italian stew that I've made as a base, also with some fish broth, basically, and mix it all together with some herbs. I did a little bit of white wine. One of the products that I love to use is actually white balsamic vinegar, which got cilantro and garlic in there. I also put some ash oil, which I actually mentioned in one of my previous videos. And another thing that I love from Italy also is like that fig glaze, basically. And it's just like enriches the flavors so much with the herbs. So in order to accomplish this and to add a little more fish, which is what we're going to do right now, is that I'm going to add basically some tilapia. So what I'm going to do for the tilapia is that I'm going to steal a little bit of that fish juice, which obviously you can tell that it's got a ton of flavor. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to let this warm up. I'm going to also do some smells straight from Italy. So what I'm going to do is that while this is actually going on, this is something that you can start the night before, and I can guarantee you that if you cook that stew the night before, you put it in the fridge, the flavors are going to be absolutely wonderful by next day. So this is basically just because this is the fish of the Bible, tilapia, that probably one of the fish that Jesus did eat. That's the reason. I mean, we can do all kinds of stuff, but I can cook 20 different fish. But I had to start for something for my first Christmas doing videos, and that's why I wanted to stay very close to biblical things. So this basically, those two, obviously we can do 10 fillets of tilapia. It all depends how many people you're going to come, you're going to have to feed or stuff like that. But this, I'm going to do them into basically that fish stew water. And the smells, what I'm going to do is that you can't just cook smells like that. It's like, I always notice that it just doesn't come right the way that I want. So I got some smells straight from Italy, all right, which is obviously very common to find that time of the year. So I drench them with my infused olive oil with garlic. And what I'm going to do with that, I'm just going to add a little bit of pepper right on it, not much. And I'm going to do some salt, but not much because in my olive oil I got some salt already. And then we're going to put them on the stove and we're going to fry them. So the thing that's really cool about that is that fish stews, the 7 fish of that we cook in Italy, for example, you could have some people coming over, and you can put like a dish like this right on the table, and people are going to appreciate that kind of stew, basically, because first of all, it's got a huge amount of flavor. It's very seasonal because it's around Christmas, and we're celebrating, obviously, a Christian holiday because it's about Jesus Christ. But at the same time, we also have a regular, basically, stew, and it's just warm, comfort food. Basically, it doesn't matter if it's the fish stew. That one, you serve it with some really good Italian country bread, and people love that stuff. And again, it doesn't take long to cook at all. Literally, I can cook that within 10 minutes. You keep it on low flame, you just watch it, and I'll put all the ingredients under my comments in order to actually give it that smoky taste. I did that ash oil. I just put like 2 scoops of that ash oil that I previously did in one of the videos, and a lot of parsley, and that just gives it like layers of flavor. And this is what we're talking about in French traditional cooking or Italian cooking. All of that stuff, especially some of the cooking that you do in the mountains, is just layers of flavors that you build a little bit at a time. So now I got my smells right there. We're frying. Just stir them up. Oh my God, is that the smell of Italy? The thing is that you got to be very careful with that because it's very easy to break up. And I'm going to actually turn the flame down. I'm going to add a little bit of white wine on it. All right. And let's look at this tilapia. Absolutely beautiful. And it's amazing when you're cooking with 2 different styles, you're going to get different flavors. So by serving that kind of stuff, you're just like going to please all of your guests or the people that come to your restaurant, with all kinds of layers of flavor in their mouth. And with a little bit of white wine, a little bit of red wine, whatever we decide to do, rosé, it's just like amazing. This is like a feast for the eyes, and this is also very easy to do. And it's actually something that my parents used to serve in the restaurant year round. So growing up, it was kind of easy for me to do that stuff because that's something that I've learned to do with my grandmother. But I tell you, if you start with making a good stew and you just put it in there and you concentrate in adding 50% of fish stew or 2/3 of fish stew broth, fish broth basically to it, then you got a really good base. And you got so much flavor already starting with the herbs of Provence in that regular stew that if you add some herbs of Provence and you do some caraway seed, you do the fennel seeds, you do a lot of parsley, you can add different kind of vegetables. I didn't put any shallots in there, but I did put like a little drop of this olive oil that I've got with the garlic. It's infused in there with the smoke oil that I've got in there. It's just built up so much flavor, and everybody around me just love to have those dishes like that, and it's just very savory and very, very filling and pleasing to the eyes. So this is it. Basically, we've got our tilapia that's done. As usual, we do not want to overcook our fish. And now I am actually doing 2 fillets, but you can do a whole tray Right on the stove, you can do a whole tray in the oven. You just need to put some a drizzle of olive oil with it in there, and then a little bit of that fish stew. Control a little bit that heat and watch it. And then what we have over here is two beautiful dishes. All right. Then I'll pick this lemon. Do clam. Oh, I'm almost to jump out of the water. I'll do some shrimp, just like that. And what I will do next to that is that in a very Roman traditional way, I'll put the juice with the barley right on it. Very Roman. The Romans used to eat a lot of barley. Used to give them strength. And by all means, it's also related to the Bible, basically. And this is one of the dish that we can do just like that. In the meantime, smells can be a little bit of a pain to deal with, but by all means, they are always very easy to conquer. So what I'll do is that I'll gently take quite a bunch of smells, and obviously you can tell that it didn't take long at all to cook. And you absolutely cannot overcook them, and you also don't need to take the bones out. You people eat pretty much the bones. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I'm still alive, so it's awesome. It's full of vitamins too, and good vitamins. Now, on that note, you can, in order to dress them up, is that I'll do, for example, little tiny bit of that smoky oil right on it, and then I will do a drizzle of the juice right on it. Just like that. And then, now there are two schools of thoughts in when it comes to cooking smells. You can steam them. You can basically also fry them, deep fry them. It all depends what you want to do with it. And I'll squeeze some lemon all over it. You can actually, well, most of the time, the night before Christ, they in Italy, they'll be basically eating fish all night long. And so you can actually do two different kinds. You can just deep fry them, and you can do also a version like that. I've seen also people that cook them and then put them in cream and with lemon, and it's absolutely delicious. So this is my take on something that you can do for Christmas, and the fish stew, using the fish stew, and we did some smelt, and we did some tilapia, and at the same time we did a regular Italian stew with barley, which we use for the fish stew. I will leave everything under my comments, and I really believe that that's not only it's I wish that you would be in my kitchen smelling that stuff, because it's absolutely delicious. And if you get some good country bread from Italy to dip in, because you'll want that, it's absolutely delicious. On this note, this is part one of the fish dish that I'm doing for my friends, and I'm sure I'm going to do some other things, but trying to keep it simple for now. And then probably part two, we're going to do a different kind of meat, and what we can do for the holidays, also for Christmas. So enjoy until I see you for the next video. Have a good time.